Are we on? I'm on. I'm on the pot, as my mom used to say. I know you're on the pot. Welcome to Class in Session. It's another week. Ooh, nice. That was a good rip. You're watching Pot TV and B-Real TV. And I'm coughing. So, yeah, it was kind of a lackluster week here in Vancouver. We had some nice weather, some shitty weather. Nothing major to report. Haven't gone to any shows. That's about that. Wanted to play you a new video by my bros in Winnipeg. They're under the name The Breach Boys, and this is Big Bear and 40 Ounce, and they're from the Deep Cave family. Big Bear, the founder of Deep Cave Records, and they got a new video. It's called Sex Cells, so I wanted to play this for you guys as we're getting started here. I'm going to keep getting stoned, and check this out for your hip-hop comedic viewing enjoyment. These guys are fucking awesome. They are
what kind of work
animals.
You do?
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
You tell me.
He puts it on the line. Right on.
John C. Holmes, and thanks to this new widescreen 3D, that lovely girl right out there in row number 12 can now sit under the shadow of my long shalom.
Hey, Bertha, that looks like a pretty good movie.
Why, Elmer, I wouldn't be caught dead watching a movie like that.
Yo, what's up? This is Cool Keith. I've been around the world, everywhere. I gotta tell you one thing, sex sells all the time. Sex is like number one seller. Sex is number one seller. Sex.
Same old. People have the same feeling everywhere you go.
40 O's full roof, repping the city where the Jets played. I'm old school, pressing play on cassette tapes. So cool, fucking awesome, it's the X Games. No fool, I got the knowledge of a sensei. Babe, if you couldn't pass the 10th grade, there's still cash to be made in the sex trade. Bills could add up and stack from this exchange. I'm just saying, everybody needs to get laid. So you should shed weight, get in your best shape. Fuck with your friends, they bob your head until your neck's sprayed. Watch the stress fade, once the rent's paid. Take a break or lower them rates when you menstruate. Fresh face, you can choose this as a template. Use it in a test phase, you can prove that it's the best way. Catchphrase, win or lose it with a bet place. Shit, I just get paid every second Wednesday.
Saying feelings everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go.
Shake your ass, baby, and make some cash, lady. Sticky snatch on pace, you smell a snack and taste. You put a face invisible, pretend you invisible. Main principle, sex sales through flesh or digital. At a bake sale, serving up some pie. Some guy is gonna purchase what's inside from your personal supply. You a merchant paper trying an assertion. Jump up and ride high. Get all prim and proper. Profit like a doctor, flash your titties or your knockers. You can be dumb as fuck, selling gun, getting paid, idiotic slut. Blackout and wake up tomorrow. Drown yourself in your sorrows. What's a story without a moral? Hit rewind and relive last night's porno.
Saying feelings everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go.
Sex sells in it, ain't hard to tell. If I was hard as hell, I'd help myself to the wealth, man. Why even play? Get high every day. She looked me right in the eye and lied, babe, I'm trying to get laid. Come on. So what, you're hiding your age? It's okay, I'm still straight, busting out in your face. Just come to my place. I'm not at church on Sundays, but some days I'll just blaze, get drunk and make fun of gays. Cause I'm just a piece of shit, but that's to say the least of it. Tell a chick to eat a dick when she visits the Peter Pit. Now make the trip, guaranteed I'd love to see you strip. Show me your tits, get on your knees, I'm about to feed you with this. And after that you're gonna have to catch a ride home. Most guys will probably drive you, I won't. I know just how it goes with these girls. I'm thinking people feel the same all over the
People
world.
have the same feelings everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go.
Songs and G-strings, right tight bands, dildos, candlelight, romance, blow up dolls for some plastic fun, pull the trigger like you got a gun. Sex will always be price tag, inside, outside, daytime, nighttime, back page to free range, excel as I tell, sex sells.
They built me to be filthy.
And I'm the dummiest thing in
They
sight.
built me to be filthy.
And I'm the dummiest thing in
They
sight.
built me to be filthy.
And I'm the dummiest thing in sight. I'm the dummiest thing in sight.
For real.
Are we back? Hey, we're back. So that's the boys from the Deep Cave family and Sex Cells, and I have to say, they're kind of right, but I've never seen it being sold in that way, or used to sell in that way. It's usually a bunch of hot chicks, not a bunch of hairy drunk dudes dancing around in a porno shop. All right. Straight to business here. There's a lot of theories of where Jesus came from, what Jesus did. Everybody's got their own theory. This one, I like a lot of the theories, but this one I think is my favorite, and it's the most believable. There's public document that backs it up, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to start this off. Let's go with the Son of God thing. Here we go. Here's a little info, and we're going to continue this info throughout the show and touch on some pretty touchy subjects, the Queen and the Pope and a former Prime Minister and 37 other world global elites, I should say, were charged in February of 2013 in tribunal court for crimes of pedophilia and satanic ritual and stuff. So we're going to touch a little bit on that as well. There's a guy pushing the envelope in England, and it's pretty crazy.
Alexander the Great reconquered Egypt and appointed his general Ptolemy I as the new Hebrew pharaoh of Egypt. Historical facts show that the last pharaoh of Egypt was Ptolemy XV, who was nicknamed Caesarion or Little Caesar. Born in 47 BC, Caesarion was the son of two of the most famous parents in world history, Roman ruler Julius Caesar and Egyptian pharaoh Cleopatra. When Caesarion's mother, Cleopatra, proclaimed herself to be the reincarnation of the virgin goddess Isis, Caesarion became the son of a virgin mother goddess. When Caesarion's father, Julius Caesar, was elevated to the status of God by the Roman Senate, Caesarion was recognized as the son of God and heir to God's kingdom, the Roman Empire. Caesarion was also recognized as the son of God in Egypt after his mother named him co-ruling pharaoh of Egypt. Cleopatra declared Caesarion to be the king of kings at the age of 13 during the donations of Alexandria ceremony in 34 BC. The face of history suddenly changed when Caesarion's father, Julius Caesar, was stabbed to death by his most trusted men. Octavian, the adopted son of Julius Caesar, swiftly seized power as the new Roman emperor. After Caesar's death, Cleopatra became romantically involved with a married commander from Caesar's army named Mark Antony. Mark Antony and Cleopatra parented 3 children, a twin boy and girl, followed by a second boy. Since Caesarion was Julius Caesar's son and the rightful heir to the Roman Empire, Cleopatra feared for his safety. When Octavian's mighty Roman army invaded Egypt, Cleopatra arranged for Caesarion's safe passage out of Egypt with her most trusted servants. Historians confirm that Cleopatra sent Caesarion to India. There are no historical records of Caesarion's fate, despite false rumors of his capture. Cleopatra's trusted servants who traveled with Caesarion became the boy's parent guardians. But who exactly were these parent guardians who Cleopatra entrusted her son to? Were their names Mary and Joseph by any chance? While Caesarion fled from Egypt with his parent guardians, Cleopatra and Mark Antony's 3 children were placed in the care of Mark Antony's wife. After suffering a crushing defeat against Octavian's invading Roman army, Mark Antony committed suicide by falling on his own sword. The devastated Cleopatra also committed suicide by a self-inflicted poisonous snake bite. While traveling undercover through Egypt with his parent guardians, Caesarion was forced to hide his identity and change his name. The Egyptian name for Jesus is Isu, which means the son of Isis. It can be found in Egyptian hieroglyphics. Matthew 2, verses 13 and 14 of the Bible tell a parallel story of the young child Jesus and his mother fleeing into Egypt with Joseph under the cover of night.
In the year 1887, a book was published in Russia which rocked the Christian world. It was vilified and condemned. It was called The Unknown Life of Jesus Christ. The writer, Nicholas Notovich, was a respected journalist. Notovich claimed his book was a factual report of a trip he made to the Himalayan mountains in remote northern India. Notovich may well have been the first outsider to make his way to Hemis, an isolated Buddhist monastery hidden high in the Asian mountaintops. Gaining the confidence of an elderly monk, he was shown ancient scrolls which tell the story of a scholar and prophet named Issa. In these secret records, Issa is described as a foreigner from a small Mediterranean country. The stranger arrived in India as a teenage boy to study the teachings of the Buddha. And according to the scrolls, he lived here 500 years after the prophet Buddha died, a time that coincides exactly with the lost years of Jesus. Nicholas Notovich was convinced that Issa was Jesus of Nazareth. and that he carried back to his homeland the principles of Buddhism. Half a century after Notovich was in Hemis in 1902, a Hindu priest sought refuge in the same remote Indian monastery. He too translated the scrolls and published a work. His translation verifies the work of Notovich.
Ancient writings do exist from both Persia as well as India that Jesus did indeed travel to India, but we do not have 100% proof that he was there. The proof, however, does lie in his teachings when compared to sacred Buddhist writings.
The authenticated ancient scrolls found at the Hemis Monastery near Leh in Kashmir document the life of Saint Isa, leaving home at the age of 13, joining a merchant caravan, traveling the Silk Route, and arriving in India at the age of 14. The Egyptian word for Jesus is Isu, the Greek word is Iesus, and the Arabic word for Jesus is Isa. Isa continued his travels through India and Tibet and the holy cities, where Brahmin priests taught him to read and understand the Vedas. He learned Pali and studied the sacred sutras and how to cure by aid of prayer. He began teaching, performing miracles, and explaining the holy scriptures in monasteries and market bazaars. As an adult, Isa finally left India and Tibet and traveled to Alexandria, Egypt. Why Alexandria? Because that's where Isa, whose previous name was Caesarion, grew up. That's where he last saw his mother, Cleopatra, alive. Isa spent 3 years in Egypt before searching for his younger half-sister and 2 younger half-brothers fathered by Mark Antony. They had inherited land in Syria. Despite false rumors of their early deaths, historians confirm that Caesarion and his 2 half-brothers mysteriously vanished from the historical record. Did they really vanish, or did they just reappear in the biblical record? According to the Bible, 2 of Jesus' 12 disciples were named James and Thomas. The Bible identifies James and Thomas as full brothers. Jesus, on the other hand, is identified as their half-brother. Thomas is not only identified as Jesus' younger half-brother, he is also called Jesus' twin. But how could Thomas possibly be Jesus' younger half-brother and his twin at the same time? The historical records show that Cleopatra had 3 children fathered by Mark Antony. 2 of them were a twin boy and girl. Isa Caesarion clearly had a younger half-brother who was also a twin. At the scene of the crucifixion, there were 2 Marys present. One was Mary of Bithynia. When Roman Emperor Octavian invaded Egypt, Cleopatra sent her 13-year-old son Caesarion to India with Mary of Bithynia and Mary's wealthy uncle-husband named Joseph of Arimathea. Since Caesarion was the true heir to the Roman Empire, Emperor Octavian wanted him killed. Mary and Joseph became Caesarion's adoptive parents and later his loyal disciples. The second Mary present at the crucifixion was Jesus' younger half-sister, Mary Magdalene, whose birth name was Selene. She is also identified in the Bible as Mary of Cleopas, meaning Mary of Cleopatra. Selene was the orphan daughter of Cleopatra and Mark Antony, who both committed suicide. After being captured by Emperor Octavian, Selene was raised in Octavian's royal household with her 2 brothers, and with Octavian's son, Tiberius, who became the next Roman emperor. They were raised together by the emperor's sister, Octavia. Selene eventually married and became the Queen of Mauritania. Like her mother Cleopatra, Selene wore the headdress of the goddess Isis. Celine's half-brother Caesarion finally returned to Egypt after 17 years in hiding. He searched for Celine and found her. He was now called Jesus Christ, a name with the same initials as his father, J.C., for Julius Caesar. He told Celine about his plan to capture his father's kingdom, the Roman Empire, which Emperor Octavian had stolen from him. He told her he would capture it not with weapons and armies, but by creating a new religion and transforming the Roman Empire into the Holy Roman Empire. Celine agreed to join her brother's spiritual revolution. She changed her name from Celine to Magdalene by adding the word Magda to her name, which means high place in Hebrew. Jesus Caesarion also searched for and found his two half-brothers, one of whom was Celine's twin. His nickname was Thomas Didymus, which means twin in Greek and Hebrew. 17 years after her suicide, Cleopatra's 4 children were all reunited again. Why are the pages of the Bible silent about where Jesus was and what he did for 17 years from the age of 13 to 30?
Okay. All right. So, kind of takes the hocus pocus out of the whole story. A little bit more believable. We got more on that, but there's no sound on Pot TV right now. So we're going to start this next video and go fix the sound on Pot TV.
So which one? Ring of Power?
Ring of Power, Empire, Little Caesar, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All right, here we go.
He told her he would capture it not with weapons and armies, but by creating a new religion and transforming the Roman Empire into the Holy Roman Empire. Celine agreed to join her brother's spiritual revolution. She changed her name from Celine to Magdalene by adding the word Magda to her name, which means high place in Hebrew. Jesus Caesarion also searched for and found his two half-brothers, one of whom was Celine's twin. His nickname was Thomas Didymus, which means twin in Greek and Hebrew. 17 years after her suicide, Cleopatra's 4 children were all reunited again. Why are the pages of the Bible silent about where Jesus was and what he did for 17 years from the age of 13 to 30?
Perhaps the most unusual legend of the missing years recounts a journey that would have taken Jesus thousands of miles from Nazareth. He would have traveled across 2 seas to England, a land whose history would become intertwined with Christian mythology. To this day, in southern England, in Cornwall, villagers speak of Jesus having once walked here. Beneath these rolling meadows, the earth is laced with tin. 2,000 years ago, the story goes, the gospel character Joseph of Arimathea came to England to trade for the precious metal. And according to the legend, he brought with him his nephew, Jesus of Nazareth. At that time, ancient England was inhabited by the pagan Celts. Their religious leaders, the Druids, believed they were descended from a divine being. They also believed in an immortal soul. Some people in these valleys speculate that the Druids adapted their pagan religion to Christianity, not because they had heard stories of the Messiah, but because they had seen him. However, most scholars believe that it was the conquering Romans who arrived 2 centuries later who would convert the Druids to Christianity by persuasion and genocide. Since they were first found in a desert cave in 1947, the Dead Sea Scrolls have fueled speculation about the life of Jesus. Was he a member of the religious community which wrote the scrolls? They were found at Qumran, an easy walk from the very spot where it is said Jesus was baptized by John. The scrolls detail the beliefs of a Jewish sect called the Essenes, a group that flourished during the lifetime of Jesus. The beliefs of the Essenes often seem to mirror the teachings of Jesus.
Zealots.
Jesus' band of revolutionaries included not only the Essenes, but a violent Hebrew terrorist group called the Zealots, who evolved into today's Zionists.
We're going to a wedding.
There is speculation that Jesus married his half-sister, Mary Magdalene. The Bible describes a wedding party in which Jesus uses his godly powers to magically turn water into wine for the party guests. Why did the Bible fail to name the names of the bride and groom at the wedding party? Is it because the names of the bride and groom were Jesus and Mary Magdalene? Since Jesus Caesarion learned the art of healing and meditation in India, and since he was provided with a foot support to stand on the cross, and since he was taken down from the cross after only 6 hours, and since he was treated with expensive royal healing oils, did he survive the wounds of his crucifixion? Since Jesus and his wealthy Hebrew relatives all knew about Jesus' arrest and crucifixion in advance, was it planned, along with stories of his resurrection, to convert the Roman Empire into the Holy Roman Empire?
My Lord and my God!
Like his father Julius Caesar, who was officially elevated to the status of God, Jesus Caesarion was not only elevated to the status of God, he recaptured his father's kingdom and expanded the Holy Hebrew Empire all the way to Great Britain and the United States of America.
What then, little king?
A review of royal genealogy charts confirms that today, Israel, Great Britain, and the United States are all ruled by descendants of the Hebrew tribes of Israel. The big question is, if Caesarion was born in 47 BC, how could Caesarion possibly be Jesus? Jesus was born in the year 0, wasn't he? To begin with, the year 0 does not exist on today's Gregorian Christian calendar, which jumps from 1 BC to 1 AD. Experts confirm a 7-year error was made in converting from the Egyptian to the Roman to the Christian calendar. The only way to calculate Jesus' real age is from a Bible quote which states that Jesus was baptized in the 15th year of the reign of Emperor Tiberius. Since Tiberius grew up in Octavia's royal household with Caesarion's half-sister and brothers, that means Caesarion was very close in age to Tiberius, who was born in 3 BC. By comparing important dates in the Jewish, Muslim, and Christian holy books, there is a margin of error of at least 30 years. So what proof is there that Caesarion's half-sister Selene is in fact Mary Magdalene? They were both wealthy, they both shared the same names, they were both Hebrew, and they both lived in the same place at the same time under the same Roman rulers. The most convincing proof lies in a famous New York statue. The Statue of Liberty was financed, built, and delivered to New York Harbor as a gift from the French Grand Orient Temple Masons in 1886, with a commemorative plaque for all to see. The statue has nothing whatsoever to do with liberty. Its designer was French Freemason Frederick Auguste Bartholdi, who traveled extensively throughout Egypt. Bartholdi was silent about who the woman was that served as his inspiration for the statue, but there is only one woman whose face closely matches the uniquely masculine features of the Statue of Liberty, Caesarion's half-sister, Selene. Bartholdi used the ancient busts and minted coins of Cleopatra Selene as his models in designing the Statue of Liberty. By comparing a digitized photograph of the Statue of Liberty with a bust of Cleopatra Selene, the matching identity of Mary Magdalene and Selene becomes clear. The lips, the mouth, the sharp jaw, the thick neck, the protruding ears, the prominent nose, and the masculine features are a close match. An ancient minted coin of Cleopatra Selene reveals that even her hairstyle and hair tie ribbons are an identical match with the Statue of Liberty's hairstyle and ribbons. The Statue of Liberty was intentionally designed to appear pregnant beneath the folds of her robe. The implication is that Mary Magdalene had children. Their names were Tamar and Jesus the Justice, whom the Merovingians, British royalty, and elite brotherhood of Freemasons claimed to be descendants of. With the blur of confusing Judases, Thomases, Jameses, Marys, and Josephs found in the Bible, many researchers have been challenged by the Bible's name game and its who's who mysteries. One way of decoding the Bible is to profile the main cast of characters and create a royal genealogy chart. The connection between the lives of the main Bible characters and the lives of real, historical figures line up like answers in a crossword puzzle. Far from being poor and uneducated, Jesus' inner circle of family and disciples were well-educated and well-off descendants of royalty. The disciple called Nicodemus of Bethany was in reality
All right, you're going to have to learn about Nicodemus yourself. That's as far as we go here. Some education, you got to just take the initiative and pick up where the lesson left off. So, Nicodemus, look into that. There's, I won't even go into it. Okay. So a lot of factual stuff there. A lot of things that take the mysticism out of the story, if you will. But still a fucking amazing story nonetheless. That's the one I believe. Doesn't diminish the power of the belief or anything like that. It just is a reinterpretation of something that was taken way out of context. So, the cult of Rome lives on, still rules the world. It's the Holy Trinity. It's the cult of Rome, the cult of Egypt, and the Hebrew Judaic cult. All married together. Pretty interesting. Let's play the God King's True Bloodline of Christ. It's kind of a short video. Yeah.
Edificium apostolatis elementum ipsumque ad Dominum didit, quod interpretata virgus. There were three who always walked with the Lord: Mary his mother, the sister of his mother, and Miriam of Magdala, known as his companion, in brackets, koinonos. Koinonos comes from the Greek verb koinon, meaning to copulate with or to mate with.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Blessed Thomas, himself Didymus to the Lord, which is to be interpreted his twin. Okay, so Jesus had a twin brother. If Jesus is divine, is his twin divine? And if they are divine, are their children divine? And these questions were actually asked at the council house here. And Athanasius got up and said, no, 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 this is all lies, it never happened. This was a Roman marketing plan to take over the spiritual aspects as well as the physical. The descendants of Jesus protested, and Sylvester actually turned round to them and said, "You are being written out of the Gospels." That's what he actually said. And what's more, Constantine then proceeded to literally have a policy of trying to kill off all the Desposyni. He actually had the policy of killing off all the people who had any relationship with Jesus. They went underground, some of them went to India, they went abroad, some of them changed their names, they took coded names.
Do you know anybody that knows that they are members of this division?
Oh yes.
Other than yourself?
Oh yes, large numbers.
Really?
Oh yes.
And they know that they are members
of
the bloodline of Jesus?
Oh yes. Well, they always have done. I mean, some of these documents have been held by these families for generations.
Families?
Yes.
In existence now?
Yes.
Know that they are members, they are bloodline descendants of Jesus?
Yes, of course.
All right, so that's, I guess that's a little trailer, but it holds a lot of information, and I figured it was pretty valid. So search that out on your own as well. It's, it'll open your eyes. Let's, what do we got here? Let's go with, let's just go with the next one. Yeah. Okay, so this kind of talks about the different bloodlines of the ruling class. It's part of quite a long documentary series. It's, I don't know, I think it's like 20-something parts. So we're going to play part 1 and part of part 2. Oh, 1 of 10? Okay, so that's something else I was looking at. That's 20-something parts. Never mind. All right. So this is the first part and part of the second one. It goes into a lot of the things that happened during World War II when you get into part 3 and the Zionist interruption into the world elite and all kinds of stuff. But I didn't think that any of that pertained, so I wanted to play just the beginnings. All right, here we go.
And may the angels lead thee
World War II, the Vatican was criticized for supporting Hitler and his Nazi regime. To this day, the Vatican is still under investigation for plundering Nazi gold from the Swiss bank accounts of Jewish Holocaust victims. Over the past 5 decades, more than 1,500 priests and bishops have been identified in the sexual assault of tens of thousands of boys and girls in their trusting congregations and orphanages. Why is this filthy rich institution preaching spiritual values of poverty and chastity while cardinals, bishops, and priests cover up their crimes of sexual abuse? Why has the Church fought and resisted the compensation claims of their sexually, emotionally, and spiritually traumatized victims? Like Vatican City, London's inner city is also a privately owned corporation or city-state, located right smack in the heart of Greater London. It became a sovereign state in 1694 when King William III of Orange privatized and turned the Bank of England over to the bankers. By 1812, Nathan Rothschild crashed the English stock market and scammed control of the Bank of England. Today, the city-state of London is the world's financial power center and the wealthiest square mile on the face of the earth. It houses the Rothschild-controlled Bank of England, Lloyd's of London, the London Stock Exchange, all British banks, the branch offices of 385 foreign banks, and 70 U.S. banks. It has its own courts, its own laws, its own flag, and its own police force. It's not part of Greater London or England or the British Commonwealth and pays no taxes. The city-state of London houses Fleet Street's newspaper and publishing monopolies. It is also the headquarters for worldwide English Freemasonry and headquarters for the worldwide money cartel known as the Crown. Contrary to popular belief, the Crown is not the royal family or the British monarch. The Crown is the private corporate city-state of London. It has a council of 12 members who rule the corporation under a mayor called the Lord Mayor. The Lord Mayor and his 12-member council serve as proxies or representatives who sit in for 13 of the world's wealthiest, most powerful banking families. This ring of 13 ruling families includes the Rothschild family, the Warburg family, the Oppenheimer family, and the Schiff family. These families and their descendants run the Crown Corporation of London. The Crown Corporation holds the title to worldwide Crown land in Crown colonies like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. The British Parliament and the British Prime Minister serve as a public front for the hidden power of these ruling Crown families. Like the city-state of London and the Vatican, a third city-state was officially created in 1982. That city-state is called the District of Columbia and is located on 10 square miles of land in the heart of Washington. The District of Columbia flies its own flag and has its own independent constitution. Although geographically separate, the city-states of London, the Vatican, and the District of Columbia are one interlocking empire called Empire of the City. The flag of Washington's District of Columbia has 3 red stars, one for each city-state in the 3-city empire. This corporate empire of 3 city-states controls the world economically through London's inner city, militarily through the District of Columbia, and spiritually through the Vatican. The Constitution for the District of Columbia operates under a tyrannical Roman law known as Lex Fori, which bears no resemblance to the U.S. Constitution. When Congress passed the Act of 1871, it created a separate corporate government for the District of Columbia. This treasonous act allowed the District of Columbia to operate as a corporation outside the original Constitution of the United States and outside of the best interests of American citizens. A sobering study of the signed treaties and charters between Britain and the United States exposes a shocking truth. The United States has always been, and still is, a British Crown colony. King James I was famous not for just changing the Bible into the King James Version, but for signing the First Charter of Virginia in 1606. That charter granted America's British forefathers a license to settle and colonize America. The charter also guaranteed that future kings and queens of England would have sovereign authority over all the citizens and colonized land in America stolen from the Indians. After America declared its independence from Great Britain, the Treaty of 1783 was signed. That treaty specifically identifies the King of England as the Prince of the United States and contradicts the belief that America won the War of Independence. Although King George III of England gave up most of his claims over his American colonies, he kept his right to continue receiving payment for his business venture of colonizing America. If America had really won the War of Independence, they would never have agreed to pay debts and reparations to the King of England. When Congress passed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, the U.S. President was made subservient to the King of England. The 13th Amendment is called the Title of Nobility Amendment and forbids U.S. presidents and their officials from using royal titles like king or prince or baron. For some mysterious reason, the 13th Amendment, which was ratified in 1810, no longer appears on current copies of the Constitution. America's blood-soaked War of Independence against the British bankrupted America and turned its citizens into permanent debt slaves of the king. In the War of 1812, the British torched and burned to the ground the White House and all U.S. government buildings and destroyed ratification records of the U.S. Constitution. 1 century later, a corrupt U.S. Congress committed the biggest theft in world history. They passed Paul Warburg's Federal Reserve Act in 1913, handing over America's gold and silver reserves and total control of America's economy to the Rothschild banksters. Most Americans still believe that the Fed, or Federal Reserve, is the government. It is not. The Fed is a privately owned banking system whose majority Class A shareholders are the Rothschilds, Warburgs, Kuhn and Loeb, J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, Israel Seif, and the Lehman Brothers. This private banking cartel is the Fed and is never audited and never pays taxes. They print and design America's money, which displays their symbols of an Egyptian pyramid, a Masonic all-seeing eye, and the words "In God We Trust." Who exactly is the God they trust? They also collect American taxpayers' money through the IRS. Then they loan it back again with interest to pay for roads, bridges, and other public works. American presidents are handpicked and financed by these special interest power groups. Like George W. Bush, John Forbes Kerry, whose initials are JFK, is a member of Yale University's Skull and Bones Brotherhood. The Forbes part of John Kerry's name identifies his descendancy from Captain Robert Bennett Forbes, who was a drug runner for the Rothschilds' opium drug trade with China in the 1800s. Most U.S. citizens believe that the United States is a country and that the president is the most powerful man on earth. The United States is not a country. It is a corporation, and the president is president of the corporation of the United States. He and his elected officials work for the corporation, not for the American people. Since the United States is a corporation, who owns the corporation of the United States? Like Canada and Australia, whose leaders are prime ministers of the Queen, and whose land is called Crown Land, the United States is just another crown colony. Crown colonies are controlled by the empire of 3 city-states. At the center of each city-state is a towering, phallic-shaped stone monument called an obelisk that points skyward. In D.C.'s city-state, the obelisk, known as the Washington Monument, was dedicated to Freemason George Washington by the Freemason Grand Lodge of the District of Columbia. The secretive Brotherhood of Freemasons laid the Washington obelisk's cornerstone in 1848 and contributed 22 Masonic memorial stones. 250 Masonic lodges financed the Washington Monument obelisk, including the Knights Templar Masonic Order. At the heart of London city-state is a 187-ton, 69-foot-tall Egyptian obelisk called Cleopatra's Needle. It was transported from Egypt and erected on the banks of the River Thames. In Vatican City, another Egyptian obelisk towers high above St. Peter's Square. What exactly is an obelisk? Obelisks are phallic-shaped monuments honoring the pagan sun god of ancient Egypt called Amun-Ra. The spirit of this pagan god is said to reside within the obelisk. Obelisks symbolize the phallus and fertility. At the base of the obelisk is a sunwheel circle symbolizing the vagina. Together, they depict male and female sexual union. Worshippers of Amun believe Amun is the supreme god and creator of all things, and can transform himself into other gods, like Osiris, the god of the underworld, or Seth, the god of evil and chaos. Since vowels were interchangeable in the biblical Hebrew language, Amun can be spelled A-M-E-N, A-M-O-N, O-M-O-N, or A-M-U-N. Today, Amun is one of the most popularly used words in the entire world. It is used in all languages by Christians, Muslims, Hindus, and Jews at the end of prayer. Without realizing it, people all over the world are praising Amun. The Old Testament of the Bible is the holy book of both Christians and Jews. Amun is repeated over and over again throughout the Bible and is hidden within the word testament. The word Amun literally means the hidden one. Many are fooled into believing that Amun means so be it or truly, but in Kings 1 verse 36 of the Old Testament, Amun is identified as the Lord God of my Lord. Why in the world would the Vatican, a fortress of Puritan Christian values, erect a monument symbolizing the pagan god Amun and sexual intercourse right in its own front yard?
All right. So I don't know. I think if you take the first two videos and the third video and those videos, we can get a good glimpse of the way the world is run, why the world is run this way, and how it came to be. And really, it's the marriage of these two, the two most powerful kingdoms in the history of the world, these giant empires, the Egyptian Empire and the Roman Empire. When they married, a lot of serious stuff happened. Now we have the the Judaic Empire as well, as part of this global elite. Very, very interesting. So sorry if I've taken the wind out of some people's sails, if I've changed anybody's minds. It's not my intention. I'm not asking you to abandon your God or turn your back on your faith or anything. I just wanted to share this with everybody because it really brings things into perspective. I think it's a pretty crazy world we're living in, and we're entering some serious times, and these times are they're an intentional, conscious fulfillment of prophecy, and we're going to see a lot of things. I guess disappearing, a lot of our rights disappearing, a lot of control being implemented in society and stuff. And we're going to see this, I think, for the next 50 years or so before people really revolt and kick up a storm. But I firmly believe we're entering a kind of a transitionary period, and there's going to be a lot of atonement during this period. As we can see already, there's some crazy shit happening all over the world. Now the Queen, Pope Ratzinger, a few other people were implemented in this child pornography ring. Not even pornography. It was like full-on human sacrifice and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like what these people are being accused of is pretty fucking diabolical. So, upon searching this, I found a shit whack of sensationalist videos. A lot of them I wanted to play. Like, there's this crazy one about the queen and her reptilian legs, and this lady's like, she's 80 years old and doesn't need help getting up on the stairs. It's like, man, if you saw my mom's neighbor, I'm not even going to say her name because she probably doesn't want her name put on this, in this format. But if you saw my mom's neighbor, her secret is potatoes and fish. She's never used soap on her face in her life. This lady is 93 years old. She doesn't have very many wrinkles. And like up until her late 80s, she was literally on her knees digging in her garden and like doing stuff, physical stuff. So, and I'm sure she's not a lizard or a reptilian. So there's a lot of crazy sensationalist things. You have to remember these people are different because they've chosen a breeding line to breed internally for certain traits. So if it gets misread that, oh, well, they've got fangs or they've got these weird ears or they got this, well, chances are that's a byproduct of inbreeding. That's what I think. The queen is, she's got a pretty huge task. And she's how could I say, like she's an expert in breeding. She does all of the arranged marriages because cousins marry each other. So her position as the ruler of the monarchy, her position is to arrange all of these cousins. Okay, well, we know that they come from Austria ultimately, so they've got a cousin in the Netherlands and a cousin over here, and they're going to arrange that marriage. But oh, wait a minute, that might create some horned, fang-tooth, web-footed flipper babies. Okay, so we won't do that. We'll arrange this. She's an expert on pairing people up, and I guess a genealogical genie. Husbandry? Yeah, I guess, yeah. And that's why the royal family and a lot of these people breed horses, is so that they can study this practice in quicker, yeah, it's like schooling. Yeah, I guess animal husbandry. Yeah. So there we go. We're going to play this crazy video. This dude is fucking like, I guarantee within a year, this guy's going to be offed. 100%. All right. Let's go.
Pine Mesh Films have decided to show the documentary film they shot of the UK rally against child abuse in segments to give the film a bigger audience. If you are a supporter of Pine Mesh Films' work, we would ask you to help us to continue with our fights against child abuse and for you and your family's civil liberties by donating whatever you can afford to enable us to continue giving you the hard-hitting facts. In this first segment, Bill Maloney makes his opening speech at the rally and then goes on to document the rest of the day on film. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Lily here. Sorry if my narration sounds a bit slower than normal, but Bill has been driving us all fucking mad at Pine Mesh Films, so I've had a little drop of brandy. Excuse me.
Hello everybody, my name's Bill Maloney and I am a victim of child abuse, as were my 7 siblings. So you think of the abuse, whatever depths you can go to, we were there. Now I specialise in institutional child abuse. I've been talking to a few of you and I've been doing this for quite a few years now. You know, I went into the dramatic film game to earn the big bucks and to be a filmmaker. But this came back on me when my sister was found dead in her apartment after a documentary film I shot called Sun, Sea and Satan. And in Sun, Sea and Satan, I am accusing the establishment, the institutions and the Crown of killing my sister. Now, when I was making Sun, Sea and Satan, when I was shooting this film on the island of Jersey, it's about Hope de la Garenne, where there was a massive establishment cover-up and many of the children were being killed. I don't know if you remember, they found teeth in the cellar and bits and pieces of kids lying about and victims giving statements that were ignored and are still ignored. And there was a newspaper article in the Irish World yesterday about me, and it said that I was going to commit treason. Well, if saying that I have a victim underneath your man here, if I say telling you people here in the middle of Trafalgar Square that I have a very reliable victim who is a witness on the island of Jersey who told me in detail how the Queen Mother used to play about with her. Yes, I can see you. And this is what you're all here for. You're all here for the Crown. You're all here, all you tourists, you're all here to say, what a wonderful country, we've got a wonderful Queen. Well, what you don't know is that the Queen owns the island of Jersey. The UK does not own the island of Jersey, it is the Queen. Our Queen owns the island of Jersey. It has a population of just 90,000, 9-0. Yet it has a financial industry worth £250 billion per year. She has not taken any, and I can see one of the wardens looking at me, because what I am doing here is committing treason. Now, it was up to 1998 that the only law in this country, not killing children, raping children, torturing children, no death penalty for that. But in 1998, we still had a death penalty in this country for treason. Now, treason means something as simple as this: talking bad against the royal family. Well, if we've got any police officers here, I am accusing the Queen Mother of paedophilia. And I am accusing her daughter of covering it up on her island of Jersey. And so, this is a dirty country. This country is filthy because of our Queen and her mother and Mr. Lord Mountbatten, who, when he was killed, had 3 children on his boat with him. That's how high it goes. And now, another little bit of sinister story for you. The Pope, the age of sexual consent in the Pope's Vatican City up to 1 year ago, 2009, was just 12. 12. You can take a kid at 12 years of age in the Vatican City. Then, when our film Sun, Sea and Satan was released, they put it up last year to 14. You have 800 priests, clergymen that live in the Vatican City. Nobody else lives there or stays there. They are celibate. Now, celibacy means you don't have sex. Why do they need an age of consent if they don't have sex? And I'm very angry. I am very angry. And then we have President Putin. When President Putin was on his election campaign, he was in a place like this, and he walked up to an 8-year-old boy, lifted his t-shirt up and kissed him on the nipple. The whole of the Ukraine said, excuse me, bollocks about the election. Why did he do it? Why did Putin kiss that child on the nipple? And what I'm trying to do here, people, is show you how high it goes. The royal family, the Pope, the Catholic Church, and he's coming over here, and I want to talk to him, but I don't think he's going to talk to me. Now, there is another outrage that is going on. We have a Down syndrome girl who has been repeatedly raped by the establishment. All you tourists, you are here to look at this establishment, the National Gallery. What nation? We have no nation. We're a dirty country. Look at it, the Royal Bank of Scotland, Canadian Pacific. This is not about this country. If you go in the National Gallery, they do an ice cream in there, and it's called a national catastrophe. That costs you £8.50. Now, from where I come from, the lower classes, I don't know anyone where I come from in South East London who could bring 2 or 4 kids up here and buy them a national catastrophe at £8.50. Do you? No, it's not right. It is not right. And we've got the bankers stealing from us. And when the bankers are stealing your money, the money that would be going to feed the poor, the taxes that would be going to the National Health Service, the taxes that would be going to help people like Holly Gray, who's being abused by doctors, police officers, social workers, politicians. Could any members of Parliament that are here put their hand up? Just put your hand up. I want 1 MP. Right, my film company, Max Films, we invited over 600 members of Parliament to this UK rally against child abuse. You know how many's come, didn't you? None, not one. That's who cares. That's who cares. And look at you tourists. You're all over here. You're all over here. You're in the middle, the centre of our democracy. And you've got people here, victims, screaming, "Stop fucking our kids! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" Now, there's some very, very brave people here. Men and women. And one thing I noticed, there are an awful lot of women doing our dirty work for us, boys. I want to see the men getting involved a bit more. Like fighters against child abuse. Yes, let's hear it, the fighters against child abuse. These are fighters, these are professional boxers, cage fighters, and they're fighting. And we're not afraid of you anymore. So as I stand here under your man, someone said to me, "Bill, it's in Trafalgar Square. You can't miss it. It's a big phallic symbol with a prick fucking about with his nipple on top. You don't like it, do you, Your Majesty?" So where's the police? Because just 2 years ago, this treason that I have just committed was guilty. If I was guilty, I would be entitled to the death penalty. Now it just carries life imprisonment. So, anyway, I'm drying up in the mouth now. I'm going to let someone else take over. And if you don't see me again, not on Buckingham Palace, because they'll probably have me in the fucking dungeons. Love ya.
Thank you, Bill. I knew we could rely on Bill to get us off to a rousing start. I have to say, his opinions are very interesting, but they are not the opinions of everybody here. So you're going to hear a wide range of opinions, and then you can go home and you can think, well, who was telling the truth? Measure it up against what you already know inside your mind and your heart.
Now we're back. We froze up after that one. So that guy's mad as hell, and he's not taking it anymore. That's for sure. Lot of crazy stuff going on with these accusations. Pope Francis, I can't remember his real name, but he's being accused of child trafficking when he was in Argentina. I think he's got some kind of court thing in March of this year. Yeah. I mean, these aren't like traditional courts. This is like common law court, tribunal courts. So they're basically courts that are set up by the people, I believe.
Is it like Argentinian court?
No. This is a common law court, a tribunal court. So I guess like a group of people that have enough facts can hold somebody guilty by international law. They can hold somebody guilty and give them an ultimatum and date upon surrender, and if they don't surrender, they're subject to citizen's arrest, and ultimately that individual could technically be assassinated, I believe, which is kind of interesting.
They can be assassinated like legally.
Well, I mean, a lot of things can happen during citizen's arrest.
Right.
So apparently the Queen of England, Pope Ratzinger, I can't remember which Canadian Prime Minister, and a whole bunch of other people they're up for citizen's arrest March 15th, I believe. Around the same time that Pope Francis but Pope Francis gets tried in this Commonwealth Court, or common law court.
Beware the Ides of March.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff going on. Well, there's another video. There's a lot of speculation on the Bush family. Now, I've looked into this. I found a picture of Prescott Bush in this video. And this picture of Prescott Bush is identical 100% to an image captured of George Scherf Sr. at a Christmas dinner with Joseph Mengele and Otto Skorzeny and Brahman and all of these people. So I think we're going to play this video. Yeah, let's play this. It's the George Scherf Jr. All right. So George Scherf Jr. is the son of George Scherf Sr. George Scherf Sr. is allegedly the same man as Prescott Bush. George Scherf Jr. is George Bush. How's it going, Marijuana Man?
Good.
What's happening? No? So I wanted to show, because they show a picture of Prescott Bush standing outside of an airplane with a lady holding a baby. And then there's also an image, like I said, of Scherf Sr. and Scherf Jr. at this Christmas function with the inner sanctum of the Nazis, with the absence of Hitler. All right.
Time has slipped away, and suddenly it's hard to find the memories you left behind. Remember, do you remember the laughter and the tears, the shadows of misty yesteryears, the times and the bad you've seen, and all the others in between. Remember, do you remember the times of your life? passing one by one. So gather moments while you may collect the dreams you dreamed today. Remember, will you remember the times of your life? Gather moments while you may collect the dreams you dreamed today. Remember, will you remember the times of your life?
All right. Now I wanted to show you these images again of Scherf Sr. and Prescott. Okay, so is that up? All right. If you look at the dude in the sailor suit, that's allegedly George Bush Sr. as a 14-year-old dude. Right next to him, the guy with the big ears and the full-on Bush face. Like, you can't miss him. He looks like a Bush. He actually looks like George W. W. Hey, where's my oil? Where's my cocaine? Where's my oil, my cocaine? What's that? Yes, we're still on the first image. Okay, so I think his name is even listed there. Hang on for a sec. Okay, so if you look carefully, it even says Prescott Bush. That's George Scherf Sr. Now, we're going to go to... This is before he came over and changed his name. Yeah. Well, it's actually... Yeah, they were rocking it at around the same time. He was going back and forth. And Scherf was also Tesla's patents and... accounts guy or something. Like crazy stuff. And there's some rumor as to whether or not the book Curious, or the series Curious George was associated with George Bush Sr. as this kid that was always in everybody's way in Tesla's labs and all kinds of stuff like that. And coincidentally, when the movie Curious George came out, the author, the guy that did it, was found dead in his driveway. Curious. Like an old man that has nothing to do with anything. Just like, boom, you're dead. So that's kind of fucked up. I think he was shot in the head or something like that. Anyways, okay, so this is the Nazi family gathering. And it's, as you can see, that's George Scherf Sr. and George Scherf Jr. Now we're going to go ahead to the... Okay. All right, there we go. And perfect. There is Prescott and George Bush. They've got a distinctive look. You can't mistake that look. All right. So there we go. All right, let's go back. Back to us. All right, I just wanted to share that with you guys. There's for sure a lot of similarities. Speculative at best, you know. We can only speculate. But yeah, that's just what it is. 12:20, eh? All right, let's, I got some fucking camera footage here. There's quite a bit of it. Let's play it all. There's a bunch of weed videos here. Now I figured we may as well get to some weed because we've covered so much crap in this episode that it's just time to fucking chill out and get high. That's enough satanic queens and pedophilia popes and stuff like that. We're going to show some Burmese and Seedman's Haze and some moldy ice nugs and some ambrosia. I've got a garden video. What else? Shishka berry and some Hotaki, old and both old stock, but refrigerated and non-refrigerated. So here's the first video, and it's just going to play all back to back. Because we know how to do that now. We figured that continuous just played the same video over and over. So we don't play continuous now. All right. Here we go. Yeah, that's not the first one.
Watching Judge.
There we go. Where's the sound, man?
This Burmese is very old. It's been sitting in my fridge. I just manicured it. It's about 18 months old. Trichome's still intact. Look at them. They're very pretty. We got some volume going on in the background. This is my old band. Now it's got a really kind of sandalwood, rose, dank cedar thing going on. I think we're going to do some in the sublimator right now, assuming it's still on. Very nice. Oh no, my sublimator turned off. It's got a 1 hour timer on it. Oh, it's still good. So, we're gonna load a bowl in the sublimator. Put this down here. I don't know if it's gonna be focused or not. Little Burmese in the sublimator.
Sometimes I feel so happy. Sometimes I feel so sad. Sometimes I feel so happy. But mostly you make me mad.
Now, despite the lengthy time in the fridge, it's still quite amazing. It doesn't have that old weed flavor. It has a very pronounced Burmese flavor. Alright. I'm gonna go space out a little bit and crash for a while. It's about 6 in the morning, I'd say. Let's see what time it is. Yeah.
pretty close to 6. Alright guys, we'll see you in a few hours. Oh, got some Seedman's Haze here. Looking very fucking sexy. So colorful, it's almost got this bluish tinge to it under this light. I mean, we got morning light coming in through the window here, so that could be providing some of the blue hues. But very, very pretty, so photogenic. Let's get down into the bag. Just wanted to share this with you guys. You know, so many Kushes on the market, so many God buds and all kinds of shit like that. It's, you know, not often we see these beautiful, delicate, long flowers. Very sexy. Just wanted to show you that. Gorgeous, gorgeous specimen of cannabis. Even some of these old brown leaves here are just coated. So coated. Let's see if we can get any on the fingers. Yeah, trichomes on the fingers. Awesome. All right. That's a bunch of Seedman's Haze. Take care, guys. Hey, motherfuckers. Just want to show you guys some stuff. Alright. We are looking at a bag of ice, which is Northern Lights to skunk. Now I want to show you something. On the surface, the bud looks pretty good. But inside, you've got some heavy-duty rot going on. Let's see if I can get a better view of this. Very brown inside there. Just wanted to share that with you. Always look on the inside of your nugs. Now, especially when nugs are very dense, you'll see some of this happening. Little brown. That one looks pretty good. But if there's one bad one in there, there's more than, there's gonna be more. Alright, shop smart. Alright, we're looking at a bag of ambrosia here. Really, really photogenic weed. This is a God bud crossed with a Burmese. It looks super sick. Unfortunately, this shit burned like shit. Very, very dark black ash, but so sexy looking. So just wanted to share this with you guys. Everything about this was clean except for the burn.
And it just kind of made me sad because, you know, you take something this far and you don't finish it. Anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys. Now we've got some candy hash plant. Now I'm not sure what the lineage is of this. I really don't know what to say about this strain, other than it really reminded me of the old school. We're looking at a chunky bag of Hindu Kush here. A cut that circulates in the lower mainland under a couple different names. Some people pass it off as the pink because it has similar structure. Some people call it OG. There was a group of guys out in the interior that have been growing this Hindu Kush for well over 20 years. And they trained some of the younger guys before retiring. And the younger guys considered this the OG because it was the first Kush that was circulating in a lot of areas. So it got the name OG, and the OG Kush somehow gets passed off as Hindu. But this is actually the Hindu Kush. You can tell it's got the dark red structure, pointy structured nugs. I grew up on this weed, man. I've seen this weed, I think, for the last easy 20 years. There's a few phenotypes of Hindu Kush. There's one Hindu Kush phenotype that's very similar to Black Domina. So dense and chewy. The ash of this is bright white, and the joints burn with a really nice oil ring around the cherry. So hats off to whoever's doing this. Hi! Guess where we are? We're in a grow room. And we are looking at the old school purple Kush cut. This is about 35 days in flower or so. Now, it's really hard to say where this cut came from. There's a few stories about it. One of my favorite stories is that a California Buyers Club donated the cut to a group up here in the interior. Now, I'm not sure if that story is true or not. Now, the story goes that the Buyers Club was getting everything that was produced up until 9/11 happened. When we had the misfortune of 9/11, the borders closed, and a lot of the stuff ended up, instead of going across the border, staying here in Canada. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is how big of a yielding plant this old purple Kush is. This is 1000 watt high pressure sodium bulb. As you can see, 35 days in flower, this bud is as long as this bulb, and it's a little bit fucking wider. It's as wide as the widest point. So just to show you that again, I really wanted to show you guys that. It's a very high yielding strain, and produces quite a lot of calyxes. A lot of trichomes. Beautiful plant. Here we have a Romulan. Another crazy story with the Romulan. Jason King published that it came from a Vietnam vet. It's not fucking true. The Romulan came from Romulan Joe, who was not a Vietnam vet. Romulan Joe would have been a child during the Vietnam War. Federation got a hold of Romulan Joe's cut and crossed it with a white widow, I believe. Might have been a white Russian, white rhino, I'm not sure. As you can see, nowhere near the production of the purple kush. Still a pretty long bud once it connects and fills in, and again, this is only 35 days in flower. Very, very frosty though. There's another little Romulan. This one I fucking love. This is the East Coast Sour Diesel, and what a beautiful prolific plant. Like, it's huge. Not huge, but for the size it was when I triggered it, it really spread out and is filling in quite nice. See trichomes onto the larger fan leaves, almost to the tip of the larger leaf. So, you know, the East Coast Sour Diesel is a very good strain. The blade is almost 3 fingers wide, definitely 2 fingers wide for the blade of the leaf. This is a mental floss. Come on, focus. There we go. Hi, mental floss. What's happening? Mental floss is a chimera strain. This is the BC OG train wreck. If I can focus on it. There we go. Caked. So full of trichomes. Not sure about the yield on this one. We'll see how she goes. It's yellowing very nicely though. I mean, quite a lot of bud on it. Here's another one. Quite a lot of buds. Now we have a warlock here. I want to show you. Gorgeous, gorgeous trichome production. Like really, really nice. Big pronounced trichomes. This here is a Seedman's Haze. Very large yielding plant. Let's back that up a bit. There we go. Very large yielding plant. I mean, you can see how far, or how close and tight these internodal spacings are. And you know, for a strain that goes as long as it does, you know, 80 days, 85 days or so, at 35 days it is so caked with trichomes. I can't wait to try this when it's done. Here's another Seedman's Haze, a little closer to the light. Developing a little different. Here's another Warlock, very close to the light. Again, so coated with trichomes. 1984. Packing it on pretty heavy. Now I've got some yellowing going on. That's where I like it. So if you guys are going, oh man, look at all the dead leaves. Yeah, well, this is what I strive to achieve by day 35. I want my stuff yellowing out so that by, see, look. Nice crusty so that I can ensure, this is a cane-up. Yeah, I want my leaves yellowing out so that I can ensure by day 70 when I'm harvesting most of these strains, they're gonna burn beautiful. Gorgeous white ash. So cane-up, special K crossed to Nepalese. Very nice yielding strain, fast producer. What's this one? Oh, this is a Diana Ross. I should probably cut a clone off of this because it's, I think, the last one of its kind. And again, like, very, very tight trichome clusters. It's got the bling. This one's the Warlock again. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Just getting ready for the show. It's about 8 in the morning. I've been up since 5. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see ya. We are looking at some shishkaberry. Under some poor light. There we go. Shishkaberry, one of Breeder Steve's creations, I believe. Carried on further by Cash Crop Ken, who kind of pirated it by taking Breeder Steve's shishkaberry seeds and doing a bag seed cross of it, basically. Well, not bag seed, but he took actual seeds obtained from the pack of seeds and started crossing it, and then came out with his own shishkaberry, which he eventually renamed the Kish. Kish is just, yeah, shishkaberry to shishkaberry, basically. And it doesn't come out like this. Got a little bit of David Byrne and Brian Eno playing in the background. Always very important to crack your buds open and look on the inside. Make sure there's no pathogens hiding in there. This is pretty good. I think I might even try to smoke some of this. Let's see. I thought I saw something in there. No, we're good. Classic. Let's peel this leaf back and see what's on the other side. Well, they didn't have any powdery mildew. They might have had some spider mites. Pretty good though. Always important to peel some of those bigger leaves back when you see them curled down. That's where you're going to find if there's powdery mildew on there that the trimmers... Yeah, it looks like they had a small spider mite problem. Maybe not though. Hard to tell. It's pretty clean. So I think I do want to try this. I like that piece right here. Yeah, I really dig that piece. We're gonna put it in the sublimator.
And then I'm going to do a burn test on it to see how she burns. Alright, just wanted to share that with you guys. That's some shishka berry. And you know what? Let's just see how this sublimates right now. We'll try this out. Tastes like shishka berry. Shishka berry. Holy fuck. Wow. Definitely tastes like shishka berry. Very nice. Immediately there's a pretty good stony thing going on. Alright. Peace out, guys. Alright, what we're looking at here is Hotaki. Hotaki that has been sitting in my living room for about 18 months being slowly consumed. Now, what I wanted to do is show you a comparison. This is Hotaki, same batch, slightly different phenotype, but this is Hotaki that has been sitting in my fridge completely sealed for the same amount of time, 18 months. Roughly 18 months. Now, you can see how this is a lot greener than the other one. We'll put them side by side for intensive purposes. One's very brown, reddish almost, and has the flavor of Moroccan hash kind of. And the other is extremely green and tastes like how the Hotaki did when it was fresh. So, just wanted to say, guys, for long-term storage, definitely keep your stuff in the fridge. Myself, for long-term storage, I go to the freezer, and when I'm ready to smoke it, I pull it out of the freezer, I crack the lid, and just kind of let it breathe for about 15 minutes before I pull the butt out. Let it acclimatize, get room temperature, and then start messing around with it, pulling your buds out. Otherwise, your trichomes will be very, very brittle and will crack right off. But for long-term storage, I suggest the freezer or the fridge as opposed to the shelf. This is what you get from the shelf. This is what you get from the fridge. Fridge and shelf. There we go. Alright, take care, guys. Have an awesome day. Keep smoking. Hi, I'm watching Judge Judy, because that's what I like to do in the mornings. But I'm looking at some sage and sour while I watch Judge Judy. Thought I'd share this with you guys. Sage and sours from TH Seeds. The sage being one of their flagship strains, crossed with a sour diesel. This phenotype really takes on the sour diesel as opposed to the sage, the one that was chosen. Very sour in flavor. Beautiful, beautiful. Now this batch had a little tiny bit of spider mites. Yeah. But I'm not letting that stop my enjoyment because this is a dynamite fucking strain.
The keys to what? To my car. So you grabbed the keys to your car and went to your bathroom. Because he was trying to attack me.
Thought I'd share that with you guys.
Grabbing at me, and then he started trying to open the door, and he
We'll put that back in the bag. Now, there's also another one that I don't think I've ever seen before. This one, it's a candied hash plant. Now I want to thank my friends for sharing some of these things with me so that I can share them with you, allowing me to get footage of their own collections and stuff. Now this candied hash plant is, fuck, I don't know, man. It really smells like the old school BC hash plant. Has a very serious hash plant flavor, but there's something different about it. It's very spiky looking.
And then he's just taking the cigarette that he was smoking, and he's like, I'm gonna call the police. You want? He's like, I'm gonna call the police. And then he gets on his phone and he puts his cigarette while he's on way to his neck, and then tells him, I'm gonna ruin you.
Good old Judge Judy. There's some serious drama going on today on Judge Judy. Look at that. Old fucking school. This stuff really reminded me of the early 90s. I wanted to really share it with you guys. Alright. I think I'm out. I'm missing Judge Judy. So one thing about Tuesdays, I don't get to watch Judge Mathis, don't get to watch Judy. A little bit sad, you know, and I'm kind of sad they took Joe Brown off the air too. But there we go. Candied hash plant. I've never seen it before. I don't think it's a real name. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's just one of those things. There's a lot of people out here, including myself, that just fuck around and come up with new things and keep them. And every now and then those special things get out. So it's possible somebody just took an old hash plant clone and had a mail of cotton candy or Candy Kush and knocked it. I really don't know, but it's fucking sick. I love it. Peace out. Okay, I'm gonna say farewell and then we're gonna play Free to Be Stoned. Alright, so that's another episode of Class in Session with very minimal freezing this episode. Pretty good. You know, pretty good. I think it went kind of smooth today. You know, couple hiccups, but for a bunch of we're gonna play Free to Be Stoned, because I think with all of this bullshit going on in the world, these satanic queens and pedophiliac popes and, you know, these Roman Jesuses and coke dealing presidents and all sorts of crazy stuff, I think we should have the right to be free to be stoned. And thanks for watching Class in Session. Thanks for watching B-Real TV. Thanks for watching Pot TV. Thanks to B-Real. Thanks to everybody at Pot TV. Mark's going to be out right away, but still keep writing them if you've been writing them. If you haven't written them and you're thinking you might want to, fucking do it. Why hesitate? You know, hesitation is the leading cause of most traffic accidents. So every time you hesitate writing Mark a letter, you could be causing a traffic accident. So write Mark, say hello, or just come out to Vancouver in the fall and surprise the fuck out of him. Say, hey man, I traveled all the way from Tucson to say hey to you. Or, you know, somewhere else if you're from somewhere else. Anyways, thanks for watching Class in Session. 307 West Hastings, Cannabis Culture. Come here and buy a bong, buy some papers, buy a hoodie, buy a t-shirt. Say hello to everybody. Come upstairs and smoke your bong. Use your rolling papers. Use the vaporizers here on the 2nd and 3rd floor. Visit David's Herb Museum.
Visit Chris Bennett downstairs at Urban Shaman. Everybody's right here. Just come on down and say hey, you know. So pop me an email at classinsession666@gmail.com. And until then, we're free to be stoned. Peace out.
I don't want to be good, but I don't care if I'm bad. I don't want to feel happy, but I don't care if I feel sad. I just want to be. I just want to. I just want to be. 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 Stone. For the rest of my natural life. Because when I'm stoned, everything I do seems to turn out right. That's how I do it. I don't want to be good, but I don't care if I'm bad. I don't want to feel happy. I don't want to feel sad. I just want to be stoned. I just want to be stoned. I just want to be stoned for the rest of my natural life. Because when I'm stoned, everything I do seems to turn out right. Look, I don't want to be rich, but I don't care if I'm poor. I don't care what the policeman say. I'm gonna break the law. I just want to be stoned. I just want to be stoned. I just want to be stoned for the rest of my natural life. Because when I'm stoned, everything I do seems to turn out right. Look, I don't want nothing much. I just want to be king of my own chemistry. Free. I want to be king of my own chemistry. I know what's good for me. I just want to be stoned. Free to be stoned for the rest of my natural life. Tell them how I feel. That's all I wanna. I don't care about no. I just want. I know what's good for me, and I don't know what's good for you. I just wanna live a little stoned for the rest of my natural life. Because when I'm stoned, everything I do seems to turn out right. Everything I do seems to turn out right. Everything I do seems to turn out right. Everything I do. When I'm stoned, everything I do seems to turn out right. 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 Everything I seem to do seems to turn out